Did Shannon ever tell you how we met? I used to produce movies in the 80s. Kind of like action films, sexy stuff. One critic called them European. Anyway, he arranged all the cars for me, did all the stunts. I liked them. I liked having him around, even though he overcharged out of me. His next business venture, he got involved with some of Nino's friends. They didn't go for the overcharging bit. They broke his pelvis. He's never had a lot of luck.
You're listening to 91 Reasons, a journey into the twisted landscape of pop culture. Keep your hands and arms inside the podcast at all times. And now, the voice, Jeff Tucker.
What is it about Los Angeles that makes it like, if there's a movie about Los Angeles and there's any kind of crime in it, it's about driving. New York, it's never about driving. New York, because you can't drive in New York, with all the traffic and the people, New York crime movies are about other things. They're about heists and stuff, right? And they make heist movies about LA, but they're always about the getaway part. And I think if I had to pinpoint it, it would simply be that LA's beautiful, you know, and driving through LA is something that, you know, those of us, let me preface it. Driving without traffic in LA is beautiful. And in the movies, there's only traffic when there has to be, right? Because everything is contrived and controlled and created. So there's only traffic if that's what the script calls for. But if they have to get somewhere, there's no traffic, right? And I grew up in Norwalk, which is about 20 miles from Los Angeles, you know. And as soon as I turned 16, and my friends turned 16, and we got wheels under us and cars, you know. Every Friday, Saturday night, we drove to LA. We drove to Hollywood just to cruise, just to drive with no destination in mind. And you could do that back then. There wasn't traffic. It is hard to describe to somebody who doesn't live here how bad the traffic is. It becomes a cliche. The traffic is so bad. Oh, how bad is it? No, you have no idea. Until you've driven Los Angeles, you really have no idea what traffic truly is. Oh, it's busy every once in a while where you live, but it ain't nothing like LA traffic. You know, our Back to the Future episode we did in October, I left hours ahead of time to go 20 miles, and I didn't make it. I only made it because they were late starting. God, but back, so we're talking 1987, 1988, 1989, driving up the 5 freeway to the 101 to downtown LA, and then further into Hollywood. Like, it was magic, man. There were still billboards for cigarettes. The Marlboro Man was ensconced above Sunset Boulevard. You know, Tower Records was on Sunset, and you could just cruise, man. And you went to the end, or whatever you decided was the end. Flipped around and went the other way. And that was how we spent a lot of Friday nights, man. A lot of Saturday nights. And I did it with different groups of friends, and the experiences were different, you know. We used to go with my friend Steve in his little car he called Michelle, and we'd go to AM/PM. We would drive. The goal was to drive to an AM/PM far from where we lived, get a hamburger and a Coke, and then drive back. And it was fun. Oh my God! There was a time we went and I didn't have any money, and it was okay to go without money, you know, because your friends were like, "Look, next time I won't have any money. You don't have any money, and then we'll swap." So, a hamburger and a Coke at A.M.P.M. is like $2.50. So I got you. We went with this guy, Robert, and he insisted on going to Tommy Burgers. Tommy Burgers sold hamburgers with chili on them, and he bought him and my friend Steve one, but he didn't buy me one. And I was like, oh, this is awkward. The guy code says I don't have any money, so you have to buy me a hamburger, but I'm incurring a debt that'll be paid to you at a later date. So they end up going to 7-Eleven. So they're having delicious Tommy Burgers, and I'm having the 7-Eleven hockey puck burger. But, I mean, you can't complain. It's free, right? It just was awkward, But, man, those trips were so much fun. We would stay out till late at night. And this is a group of guys where we don't drink, we don't do drugs, we don't get into trouble. We're just experiencing life outside of the little tiny burg we grew up in, the little city we grew up in. We're just venturing beyond it. And nothing was more exotic than Los Angeles and Hollywood in the late 80s, There were still hookers on Hollywood Boulevard. Hollywood Boulevard hadn't been cleaned up yet. The El Capitan was still run down. Hollywood and Highland was a row of seedy souvenir shops. And there were hookers and con men. And it was amazing. And it was fun. And we felt like, it was the LA equivalent of like Midnight Cowboy, hanging out, walking on the stars, getting back in the car and driving home. And LA's always portrayed as that car culture. You got to get in the car. We're going somewhere. Good, get in the car. We're driving up Mulholland. We're driving up Sepulveda, So, this week, Hindle, one of the big sponsors of this show, one of the good friends of this show, decided to pick, for his Patreon pick, he gave me a couple to choose from. So I always like to go, one of two ways. Sometimes it's a movie I know really well, and I'm going to watch it again with fresh eyes, like Just One of the Guys. Or it's a movie I've never seen, and I'm going to watch it, and you're going to get the raw, first impression. And I watched Drive, which is Ryan Gosling, Albert Brooks, Ron Perlman, and Oscar Isaac. Came out a few years back. And let me tell you, I remember seeing the trailer for Drive. And like a lot of people, I was fooled. I thought this was an action picture. Drive is not an action picture. Drive is a mood picture where the character's going through the machinations of the plot, but there are no quips. There are no smart aleck responses. Everything is played dead serious. And you know what? The lead character, played by Ryan Gosling, the driver, I don't think he even has a name. He hardly talks in the movie. He is a guy who is, obviously he's driven by something because the movie's called Drive. It doesn't necessarily have to do with him driving a car. It's the drive. It's what drives you. And this guy's a stuntman for the movies. He works with Bryan Cranston, who plays this really sad sack guy. Bryan Cranston's one of those guys that's just like a chameleon. He shows up all over the place, and you're like, oh, it's Cranston. Oh, he's great. I mean, talk about a versatile actor who took, Breaking Bad and became a huge star, but then takes these movie roles where there's no heavy lifting for him other than to be a really good character actor and to support the leading man. He does really well at that. So he works with Cranston at this garage, and he stunt drives for the movie, and then he's the getaway driver for criminals in LA. And the trailer makes it look like you're going to see these amazing chase scenes through LA, and it's going to be a bunch of missions, and then one of them will go wrong, and he's got to, get the bad guys. And somewhere along the line, that movie was ready to be made. I was reading about it. They were going to make that movie with Hugh Jackman, and it was going to be this mega budget fake Fast and the Furious knockoff. And instead, they got this art house director who doesn't, I don't think he even has a driver's license. And the movie Drive becomes this atmospheric slice of life of LA crime noir, but it's also bittersweet. And it's, there's a word I use for movies like this. They're kind of antiseptic because you don't know a lot. And you're constantly leaning in like, what am I missing in this movie? And then by the end, you're not missing anything. This is the story they wanted to tell. So he's a driver for the movies. He works at a garage and he drives crime. So the movie opens with him driving for these two guys who are robbing some building. It's not important. They're criminals. That's all you need to know. And then you see him like using police procedure and traffic lights and careful planning to get away. And it's nothing flashy other than the way it's shot. It's not a quick cut movie. There are long stretches of this movie, long uncut stretches. And while I was watching it, I was really reminded of it falls right in line with another gem of a movie called Live and Die in L.A. And if you've never heard of Live and Die in L.A., God bless you, you get to watch it for the first time. Live and Die in L.A., again, moody, atmospheric, made when, it's from 1985, made when L.A. was still full of smog, and amber lights and sunsets, and it's about two Secret Service agents. One of them is played by William Peterson from CSI. The other is John Pankow, who doesn't really do a lot other than Secret of My Success. And they're on the trail of a counterfeiter played by Willem Dafoe. And the movie is really moody. Like I said, it drips with atmosphere, and it's got a lot of stretches of no talking, of just letting the images sell it. In the finale of Live and Die in L.A., it's directed by William Friedkin, who directed The Exorcist, but more importantly, he directed The French Connection. If you've ever seen The French Connection, they drove a chase through New York without a permit, and it's harrowing. And he one-ups it in To Live and Die in L.A., a movie really nobody's even heard of. They drive on the L.A. freeway the wrong direction, and you are panicked the whole time. It is fantastic filmmaking. Watching Live and Die in L.A. Reminded me of Miami Vice and Michael Mann. And I know Michael Mann and William Friedkin were working on projects together, so when they split their separate ways, Michael Mann went to Miami to make Miami Vice, William Friedkin went to L.A. to make Live and Die in L.A., and they're almost the same. Crockett and Tubbs, I'm looking at my Miami Vice poster on the wall of the Cafe 80s from Romo. Thank you. It's beautiful. Miami Vice is really well known, defined the 80s, because those guys were cooler than cool. But if you've ever watched Miami Vice, man, they get in the car and go somewhere, and the camera just is driving for 10 minutes. So the movie Drive generously borrows from both Live and Die in L.A., Miami Vice, and even a little bit of Heat. And Heat is another West Coast crime syndicate, pulling jobs and getting away from the cops kind of movie. And again, and Heat is directed by, well, there we are again, Michael Mann. So you see the same players again and again. Same with Collateral, Michael Mann. And if you're going to steal, you steal from the best. And Drive is one of those familiar yet unfamiliar movies. He wears the scorpion jacket. He drives cool cars. But the movie really is him trying to give a better life to his neighbor, this woman that lives down the hall, whose husband is in jail, and it looks like they're going to have like this love affair, but it doesn't happen because the husband comes home and it's Oscar Isaac, who you know as Poe Dameron from Force Awakens and Apocalypse from X-Men Apocalypse, right? Great actor. And again, instead of going conventionally and having them fight over the girl, the husband just goes, "Oh, I'm back, and it's my wife." And whatever it's never said, but you sort of get the idea that whatever she did while he was in jail is okay by him, but he's back now and everything's back the way it was. And if she has some longing for the guy down the hall, and there are a couple of shots that sort of lead you down that road, he doesn't care because he's this badass guy. He's trying to go straight. He has no beef with this guy. Hey, he goes, "Hey, I heard you took care of my girl while I was in jail. Thank you." So they do defy convention in this movie. I mean, all the time. Because, again, it should have been a conventional action piece with Jason Statham driving a car, down the side of a building or something, and it's not. He does one stunt in the movie where he flips a car, and he gets paid like $200 a stuntman fee for it. And the rest of it is just helping this other guy, Oscar Isaac, pull off one last job. Because he's been told, look, if I pull off this job, I'll be out. I'll have enough money to pay off my debts. They'll leave my girl alone, leave my kid alone. And Ryan Gosling, the driver, who has an affinity for this wife and this girl and her kid, he's going to help this guy out. Because it means the girl will get out. And everybody will win. But of course, it's never good. This is one of those movies where it's not going to go right. If it goes right, we don't have a movie. Right? But it is shocking, and you'll see the spoiler alert was heavily on the front of the episode if you've not seen this movie. Oscar Isaac gets blown away, and the chase is on. And I mean chase like he has to be one step ahead of the mob. But there's not a lot of chase scenes. The action scenes are really muted. They're made to be impactful instead of eye candy. You're not supposed to have a Michael Bay moment. Wow, look at they're blowing stuff up. You're supposed to go, oh my God, they're going to shoot that guy. There's a scene in the elevator. Holy moly. They send a hitman to kill the girl, and Ryan Gosling and her are in an elevator, and he beats this guy unrecognizable. And when you think it's over, it continues. He pummels him till the guy has no face. It is hard to watch, but you're watching it through the prism of, I have a vested interest in seeing this woman and her kid make it out of this situation alive. So when he takes out that guy in that form, you're totally okay with it. That guy's a bad guy. If he hadn't gotten on the elevator with intent to kill the girl, he'd still be alive. C'est la vie, right? You can't feel bad for the bad guys. Unless they're really charismatic like Alan Rickman in Die Hard. When he falls off the building, I'm like, oh, I hope that's not a hostage. But they're all on the run. The girl makes it out alive. The kid makes it out, thank goodness. But Gosling is left holding the bag of money. And the mob in this movie is played by Ron Perlman. You know him as Hellboy. And Albert Brooks, who is going against type, playing the heavy. And let me tell you, he got nominated for an Oscar for this. And at least I think he did. He's completely fantastic in it. Because you don't expect him to be that wicked in the film. And one guy talks at a turn, and he just ice picks him. He just stabs him so hard and just kills him. He goes, now you clean up that mess. Because Perlman's the one with the hot head who gets him in all the trouble. And they keep talking about the East Coast this and the East Coast that, and we got to do our business and not let the East Coast come in here and take over or kill us. So even the bad guys have an even badder guy hanging over their head. So nobody's safe in this movie. Nobody's going to make it out alive. And one of the weird turns is Gosling tries to track down who's ultimately responsible for the botched robbery and whose money is it, because he just wants to give it back. If I give the money back, you have no beef with me and this goes away. Gosling doesn't want the money. He doesn't give it away. He doesn't burn it. He just wants to make amends and go back to the way things were. Even though, as we all know, once you cross the mob, they can't let things go back to the way they were. They can't let you get away with it. If they let you get away with it, they got to let other people get away with it, and all their power, their perception of power, slips through their fingers. So we know when he sits down across from Albert Brooks and lays out this plan, Brooks is just toying with him, because we just watched Brooks take a razor blade to Bryan Cranston's hand and murder him. He talks to him for a second, and you can tell Cranston knows he's dead. He's been caught with a bag, getting ready to leave. And Brooks is like, basically, you're not going anywhere. And when he gets him, it's both shocking, expected, unexpected, and he goes, shh, there's no pain. Just relax. Just sit here. You're going to bleed out. And it's rough. It's really rough, because you don't want to believe that there are people out there that callous. You know, that a man's life is somehow worth $40,000. You know, but you know there are. You know that people have been murdered for less. The guy that killed my dad, I think he got $300 maybe. So, you know that bad people are out there, man. When you see crime in a movie, like I don't get excited. I don't. I go, oh man, you know, hope that guy gets his comeuppance. You know, if they live by a code, no killing or whatever it is, you know, I love movies. I love the world of the movies, and I'm okay with you know, like Goodfellas, Casino. I'm okay with those movies. Not okay with glorifying criminals, you know, even though Casino and Goodfellas pretty much do that. Even though by the end of Goodfellas, everybody you liked in the film finds the other end of an ice pick. In Casino, they blow up Sam Rothstein. He only escapes because the car was built a certain way, right? But Gosling's the Scorpion. And if you know the story of the Scorpion, you know that the Scorpion once found a turtle at the river's edge. And he asked the turtle, can I ride on your back across the river? Because I need to go that way. And the turtle says, are you nuts? I'm not going to give you a ride. Why? Asked the Scorpion. Because you'll sting me, said the turtle. The Scorpion said, look, I'm not going to sting you. You're giving me a ride. Why would I hurt somebody who's trying to help me? And so the turtle said, you know, that's good logic. Get on my back. And halfway across the river, the Scorpion stung the turtle. And as the turtle was paralyzed and going under the water, and the Scorpion was going to die too, the turtle said, why? Why'd you do this to me? And the Scorpion said, I'm a scorpion. That's what I do. So the reason he wears that jacket is you can't mess with him. He's going to sting you. He has no friends. He's cold. He's emotionless. He's that way so that he can survive this life. But you never are let in to why the driver is that way. What happened to him? What is he building towards? Why does he do these jobs? Why does he take the money? We don't know. He's just the Scorpion. So he sets out to first kill Ron Perlman, and they do this interesting thing where there's a bit part played by Christina Hendricks from Mad Men, and you see her get her oh my God, her face blown off. And then when Gosling goes back to the movie studio, because they've shown you this mask that stunt drivers wear to look like the leading man behind the wheel from a distance. So he's going to get that mask and put it on. And when he puts it on, he looks very creepy. He looks even more inhuman than he did before. And if you watch closely in the background when he's getting that mask, you can see the Christina Hendricks appliances used in her death scene. I thought that was a nice touch. He puts the mask on and walks right up to the door of the pizzeria where Brooks and Perlman are headquartered and just stares. And I thought, well, he's doing that so they're not alerted that it's him, but nobody ever really sees him. And then in the subsequent scenes when he runs Perlman off the road, kills his chauffeur, and basically then, stalks Perlman down the beach and drowns him in the surf, all the whole time wearing that mask. I thought, cinematically, I get it. Cinematically, it makes sense because it looks just creepy. And he looks inhuman. Like I said that before. So, I think if I had to guess why it's in the film, it's that our character, that we're with the driver. That's our character. He murdered that guy in the elevator because the girl was in immediate danger. What he's doing in the surf is cold-blooded murder. He isn't certain if they're going to back off or not. In his heart, he knows they won't. Certainly knows Perlman won't, because Perlman's crazy. So he wears the mask so that he's not the one doing the killing. He's adopting a persona. Perhaps it is the Scorpion. Perhaps when he puts the mask on, he becomes the Scorpion, and the sting is thrusting Perlman's face into the surf, drowning him, which is a terrible way to go. So then, all that's left is to deal with Brooks. And Brooks is going to murder him no matter what. He's going to get the money to murder him because that's business. And he keeps telling him, look, it's not personal. It's just business. And instead, Brooks stabs him, he stabs Brooks, the money gets thrown onto the ground, and the driver just drives away. And the movie doesn't have obvious closure. We don't know if the driver survives or not. Odds are he doesn't. There's no sequel. He's got blood everywhere. He's not going to make it. But it's left ambiguous because if you're the kind of moviegoer who needs that guy to survive, then he survives for you. I'm the kind of moviegoer that's like, the only way that guy's going to end is he's going to end. He's dead. He can't go back. There's no life to go back to. And the thing is, there was nothing holding him to this particular locale. He could have gotten into the car, drove off into the night, and been gone. He doesn't do it. It's the same mistake De Niro makes in Heat. Never have anything in your life that you can't walk away from in 30 seconds. And it's his relationship with that girl and his need for revenge that does him in Heat. And we're not going to get into a dissection of Heat. That's a whole nother show. But the flaw of these characters is they can't just leave. They have some good in them. And in Drive, he wants to save this woman. And we want him to save this woman. So he accomplishes his goal, but in the end, he sacrifices himself to do it. Drive's an interesting movie to recommend. If you're looking for an action movie, you'll be disappointed. If you're looking for something with great dialogue, you're going to be disappointed. It is sterile, man. It is moody, silent. Tells it with pictures instead of words. And that being said, I enjoyed it. I like when people take risks. I like movies that are different. Drive is certainly different. And here's the thing. I'm a big Albert Brooks fan. Huge Albert Brooks fan. Can't stand Ryan Gosling. Just can't stand him. And you know what? He's really good in this movie. Thoroughly enjoyed him in this movie. I've seen him in other movies. I've seen him in Fracture, The Notebook, a bunch of others. This one, this is his finest performance. Should have got an Oscar for it. I don't know what was up that year that he didn't get the prize. I'm sure it was somebody older or somebody playing somebody with some disabilities. I mean, that's usually the way it goes, right? But I'll be damned if he's not great in this. I mean, when he is destroying that guy in the elevator, it is visceral, man. It is like you are right there with him. There's no sex in it, no nudity. At least, yeah, there's a stripper here and there, but like nobody makes love in this movie. There's no love to be had anywhere, except maybe Albert Brooks and his display of knives that they lovingly show. You know, great movie, different. I don't think I'd watch it again. I think once was enough. There are some movies that need multiple viewings. I don't think I could sit through Drive again. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but it's like I've had that drive. I don't need to make that drive again. You drive and I'll sleep, if that makes sense to you. But it did remind me a lot of Live and Die in L.A. All those movies where even scenes in Swingers. Swingers has great driving scenes where they're driving up the hill to the party. You know, because LA's about our car, man. We are not free people in LA till we have our car, man. When I got my car, I was 17. I got a car, my license, freedom, man. I used to drive everywhere. It didn't even matter where I was going. I was driving. We used to drive to the middle of nowhere to get a Coke. That was our big thing. It was fun, man. I'm older now. I'm older and traffic has gotten so bad that the joy of that driving, I mean, you got to go out of state for it. You can't drive in LA, man. You just can't. There are times I have gone up to Hollywood. We have stayed till 2 a.m. And on the way home, you were in bumper to bumper traffic at 2 in the freaking morning. And you start screaming like, who are you people? Why are you out this late at night? If everybody died right now, I'd be home. You know, you start having terrible thoughts. But it didn't used to be that way. And you can pick up these older movies and get a glimpse of the way things used to be, man. And isn't that what 91 Reasons is, man? Thinking about yesterday, thinking about the way things used to be, how different they were. You know, I'd give anything to get in my car in 1987 and turn on some crappy Kiss FM and drive up to Hollywood. The seedy Hollywood, I remember. We performed 91 at the Comedy Store. That was so much fun, man. Driving up every weekend, hanging out in Hollywood with all of the comics and soaking it in. I know it still goes on, but it's, you know, for me, those days are gone. You know, I get my kicks sitting here in the Cafe 80s talking to you. So the times have changed. So thanks to Hindle for recommending a really cool movie. Drive is really cool. I recommend it. Check it out. Probably on Netflix. Just dial it up. Hang out. Watch Ryan Gosling. You know, because for 5 minutes, he's yours. That's what he says in the film. And just check out Albert Brooks playing against type. I mean, that's really cool. So thanks again to Hindle for recommending and sponsoring this episode. Go to patreon.com, Patreon, to sponsor your own episode. Pick a movie. Challenge me. As long as it's something I can find, I will review it on this show. It's what I do, man. Love talking movies. Love hanging out, watching movies, man. It's all I did in my high school days. So nothing's changed. Except now, when I talk about them, I record it and I play it back for you. I'm going to head out here on my hoverboard. Not one of those rolling things, but a real hoverboard. I'm going to float away. I'm going to float away to 1989, man. When things were different. When food tasted better. You know? When the McDLT was king. I'm going to throw up some fun stuff. Yeah, no, did that sound terrible? I'm going to throw up some fun stuff. What do you mean, Jeff? Well, you know, I ate some stuff. I'm going to throw it up. It'll be fun. No, at the end of the episode, I'm going to tack on some audio we took at Midsummer Scream that I just discovered on a flash drive. Like, I forgot I even had this. So check out that audio from Midsummer Scream. It's really cool. That was still so much fun. This Saturday night, September 10th, is my birthday. It's my birthday, and it's the second anniversary of 91 Reasons. 2 years. Almost 250 episodes, if you can believe that. We'll be at Fuddruckers in Buena Park about 7 o'clock. If you're around, join us. Hang out with us. That's September 10th, Saturday night. Fuddruckers, Buena Park, my birthday. 2-year anniversary of 91 Reasons. There's going to be like 50 people there, man. If you're a theme park guy, come hang out. I know it's West Coast Bash, so a bunch of you are going to be up at Six Flags with Rob Alvey, and God bless you, I get that. I will see you guys September 11th at Knott's Berry Farm, where I'm hosting the annual West Coast Bass Q&A with Rob Alvey. Theme Park Review, which I just think is the greatest. Theme Park Review is snarky and mean like me, so I get along well with Rob. Check it out, won't you? Like us on Facebook. If you'll notice, the iTunes has like 13 episodes where it used to have 200. I'm changing things around. All of the previous episodes are available on YouTube as video files, audio files. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Search 91 Reasons episodes. They should come right up. Our channel name is Silent Bob Stash. I keep trying to change it, but they won't let me. But we're trying to pick up subscribers on YouTube so that when we launch some of our online video content, you guys can check us out there. We're trying to give every member of the Tucker family television, YouTube show. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. A lot of work, but a lot of fun. But thanks again to Hendel and for everybody for your continued support of the show. It means the world to me. I dig hanging out and talking. Coming up in future episodes, learn about all about how I tried to run for office in Buena Park and I failed miserably. We're also going to talk about what it was like living on Beach Boulevard in a house that used to be a hotel with a lot of characters. And that's an episode that's been, long time coming. And I cannot wait. It's going to be multi-part. I cannot wait to unveil that to you. 91 Reasons is not stopping, man. We have episode after episode after episode coming. I know that we used to do 2 or 3 a week. I think we were killing people with that. So this once a week formula seems to work better, especially for my sanity. If I can not, it's not always viable to sit down and have 6 episodes in the can. So, thanks again, everybody, for your support. If you're in town for my birthday, all the information you just heard. And, my name is Jeff. For the next 5 minutes, I'm yours. Anything before or after that, I'm on my own. Who am I kidding? I am not Ryan Gosling by any stretch of the imagination. Instead, I am the voice, and the show you're listening to is 91 Reasons.
Thanks for listening to 91 Reasons. Please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Find us on Facebook. Is anyone even still listening?
Swap it up for the one up front here.
All right, we're live on the floor.
at Midsummer Scream. Austin, what is this? What's going on here?
We are selling all
Right
sorts
here.
of exciting products and giving out all sorts of exciting free swag.
You're
We
giving
got-
out free stuff?
Yes, free heart trading cards, free buttons, free door hangers.
And what are these over here? What is
do you
that
mean?
box?
That box is a time box. It's a rectangular blast from the past we're selling. Inside is a whole smorgasbord of pop
A
culture.
smorgasbord?
Yes, a large variety of pop culture is guaranteed within each crate. You can go with the $5 size or the $10 size.
Hey, they want to know what you're talking about.
These are time boxes. They're meant for rectangular blast from the past. Each one is packed. Guaranteed you'll want. And if not, swap it for one of mine. Because I do. Why not? We got bows. We got. Are you guys going to play
Are we doing what? I'm not allowed to talk about that till tomorrow.
We'll be here tomorrow.
How's that? That's the questions about knots. Can't talk about anything till tomorrow.
Thanks. I do listen to you guys though.
Thank you. All right, Rachel, we're at Midsummer Scream. What are you doing?
I'm losing my voice talking to lots of people.
What have you been doing?
I'm giving away free 91 Reason door hangers, and we're giving away movie buttons and trading cards and selling lots of time boxes. Mine seems to be the most popular. With the shark, just saying.
And you're the salesperson. Coincidence? I think not.
Well, I don't see everyone else selling their boxes.
Okay. All right, we'll check in with you later.
Bye! Come buy a box! There you go.
What are you doing?
I'm selling time boxes!
What is 91 Reasons?
91 Reasons is a family podcast. It's all about pop culture, all things geeky, something for everybody. We talk about all the conventions and fun events we go to.
And we're live on the floor. It's Midsummer Scream.
Midsummer Scream!
Who are you?
I'm Austin.
What are you doing?
I am exhausted from the con. Exhausted.
There's also a book series called The 60. There's 3 books out already. The 4th book comes out this fall. Has a lot of magic and mystery and adventure. Very much a young adult Harry Potter themed book, but more like